Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Every Democratic leader in the country should be immediately arrested and imprisoned for the nightmare they put America through these past 6 months over the Wuhan virus. Very quietly, with no fanfare, no press releases, no long interviews on any major media outlets, the Centers for Disease Control updated their charts on their homepage. And pay close attention to the timing of this update by the CDC, which will become clear in just a moment. About 10 days ago, the United States Justice Department announced it was going to be investigating governors that forced Wuhan patients into nursing homes. That would include Cuomo in New York and Whitmer right here in Michigan. Thousands and thousands of patients were officially recorded as having died from the disease in those homes. And then, lo and behold, the CDC very quietly, just a couple of days after the DOJ announcement, updated its COVID death numbers to greatly reduce the number of those who had died solely from COVID. What they updated it to is the truth, at last. The truth that reveals this entire Wuhan debacle was another planned effort to get Trump. Look at this. Again, right on the CDC website for the whole world to see. Of the roughly 170,000 deaths in the U.S. from the China virus, only 6%, about 1 in 20, was strictly from the virus. The other 19 out of 20 were when some other disease was already present, and in fact, more than one disease. 2.6 other serious ailments is the average number of underlying illnesses present besides Wuhan, which brought about death according to the CDC. People with severe respiratory illnesses or liver failure or severe cases of diabetes, renal failure, and so forth. The CDC provides a pretty comprehensive list, in fact, of all the other health issues that needed to be present on top of Wuhan to die from it. But the question is, if somebody already had severe diabetes and renal failure and respiratory illness and then caught Wuhan, is it accurate to say that they died from Wuhan? So what's really going on here? We all know these Marxist monsters were not only willing but actually complicit in destroying the greatest economy in the history of the world just to make sure Trump did not get reelected. Russia didn't work, Ukraine didn't work, impeachment didn't work, his personal taxes didn't work, Stormy Daniels didn't work, nothing worked against Donald Make America Great Again Trump. Nothing. But if the Marxists could develop a way to destroy the economy, that would be their ticket. Then they could not only destroy the lives and livelihoods of tens of millions of Americans, run up the national debt by trillions more, but they could then say it's really all Trump's fault because he didn't prepare correctly. There's no way to know, big picture now, there's no way to know, at least right now, if the Marxist Democrats actually conspired with the Marxist Chinese in the development and release of the virus in the first place. But given their level of evil, remember, they kill children by the tens of millions. Why not? Why couldn't this be some gigantic master plan cooked up by the Marxists in D.C. and the Marxists in Beijing? Heck, given the coziness of the Beijing Marxists and the D.C. swamp Marxists with the Vatican, you can't dismiss the possibility that the evil homo predator McCarrick doesn't have his finger in all this. Remember, Church Militant was the first to uncover last year that McCarrick was communist trained at an indoctrination center in St. Gallen, Switzerland in his youth. A man who had secret offshore accounts, according to our sources, funded by the Kremlin. Let's face it, to bring about a global domination would require a global effort. World domination, the stated goal of Marxism, doesn't just happen all by itself, just doesn't fall out of the sky. But since we can't know any of that definitively, at least not yet, let's lay it aside. What we do know is that no sooner had the Wuhan appeared, but the entire left saw and seized an opportunity for their own political gain. They brought the economy to a standstill. They locked down the country, state by state. and their Marxist media allies trumpeted the narrative. Stay home, don't breathe, never come outside again, give people free money for the next year, shut down the schools, close up everything, leave no stone unturned. The virus must be eradicated from every cellar, chased out of every chimney, every mailbox in America. No one is safe. People will die by the millions, the tens of millions. There was and still no end of this hysteria. Every day, the COVID news network, CNN, is right there with what amounts to a fake body count. Actually is a fake body count because no distinction is made between those who died from the virus straight up and those who died from a huge combination of many things. 94% of people listed as dying from Wuhan actually died from Wuhan and at least 3 other diseases, all acting in combination with each other. To skip over that inconvenient fact should result in complicit media being arrested and put on trial, and then imprisoned for the rest of their natural-born days. They abused their power, their journalistic freedom so wickedly that they brought about enormous suffering and even death to untold numbers of Americans. Suicides, mental illnesses, drug and alcohol addiction, failure to seek medical help from fear of being being in a hospital, and all along, the Dems and their media pals lied to you, they deceived you, they drove you to near panic, all for the sole purpose of getting Trump. They drummed up, manufactured a scam-demic, and made you pay the cost. None of them were touched by the consequences of their own evil, just tens of millions of others. Let this sink in. Only 6% actually died directly from Wuhan. 6%. That's approximately 10,000 people. Tragic, of course, but a small number relatively speaking. The other 160,000 died from a combination of multiple diseases, of which Wuhan was just one in the mix. You've been lied to by the Democrats and the media. Many of your lives have been destroyed, your businesses wiped out, your families left under crushing economic conditions. There is no end to the evil the Democrats will inflict on anyone to accomplish their goal. Nothing. They would gun you down in the streets if they thought it would help, and that is precisely what they will do if they win in November. This party, at least the leadership, is not comprised of Americans. They're straight-up communists who want America destroyed. And for the Catholics listening to this, remember, many of the U.S. hierarchy, the bishops and their staff, are dyed-in-the-wool Dems. They have no supernatural faith. They don't believe. They protect homo-predator clergy. They lie to you. They take your money. They give no care whatsoever about you or your family's eternal destinies. They are straight-up Marxists who disguise themselves as social justice warriors, supposedly caring for the poor. They are in league with Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and all the rest of them. That's why they never condemn them, never speak a word against them, give them the sacred body and blood of our Lord, adding sacrilege to their list of crimes. This is a giant ideological conspiracy, if not an actual one. It is a Marxist effort to defeat Trump at all costs, even faking a pandemic. 10,000 Americans died directly from Wuhan. That doesn't even crack the top 10 of the list of causes of death each year in America. Here it is from the CDC. Heart disease, about 650,000 Americans die every year. Cancer, 600,000. Unintentional injuries, accidents, about 170,000. Chronic lower respiratory diseases, 160,000. Stroke, about 147,000. Alzheimer's, about 121,000. Diabetes, about 84,000. Influenza and pneumonia, about 55,000. Nephritis, nephrotic syndrome, and nephrosis, 50,000. Intentional self-harm, meaning they committed suicide, about 47,000. 5 times the number of people died from committing suicide than those who died directly from Wuhan. America, you've been had. Brother, have you been had. In the calculation of the Marxists, including those in the church, America is the last obstacle on the world stage to global domination, and Trump is the central figure espousing American greatness. So he has to go. He has to be taken off the board so America can be taken off the board and the era of godless Marxism can begin. The Democrats are in on this. The media is in on this. The Obama holdovers and the deep state are in on this. Black Lives Matter is in on this. Antifa is in on this. Too many bishops and clergy are all in on this. And they are all Marxists. Wake up, America, wake up. And for you duped Catholics who have allowed yourselves to be taken in by these crooked men in miters, in league with all of this, you've been denied Mass and the sacraments and the normal spiritual life. You need to rise up and rise up now. The election is 2 months away. Remember all of this. Remember in November. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.